Marathon has been in an absolutely hellish state over the past couple of months. They had to completely rework the game after playtests went poorly and the plagiarism controversies. And now that they're finally doing the server slam, people are getting a sneak peek before release next week, and it's not going particularly amazing. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community and my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, yes, sometimes slop does sell. Very rarely does that happen, but we are talking about Bungie. They do have a very passionate, dedicated fan base, and maybe this game is going to do amazing. But so far, while the player counts are pretty good, it doesn't reflect what's going to happen next week. Because while, yes, as of right now, the all-time peak was yesterday at 143,000 players, and that is really good. This is a free server slam weekend, so anybody can jump in, anybody can test it, anybody can give it a shot. But when next week rolls around and people actually have to swipe their credit card and it is a paid entry, I do think that these numbers could look vastly different. I don't think that it's going to get over 100,000 when you actually have to pay for the game, especially now that there are people who are willing to give it a shot, maybe even some people who were interested and who are saying, yeah, this game just isn't good. I also think it's important to point out that as of right now, when I am recording this video, it is only at 58,000 players, and it has drastically dropped from day one. Now, again, we are talking about a Thursday and a Friday, and we'll have to see what the numbers are over the weekend, but that also is just not a very good drop. And I think it's so funny that the Access media is already pushing this stance that, like, oh, Marathon is going to kill Arc Raiders, and Marathon's already dipping into the Arc Raiders player chunk. Yeah, I do think that it is inevitable. Some people are going to go, yeah, they haven't updated Arc Raiders, we haven't gotten a new map or new guns or anything, so I'm going to go to something like Marathon to kill time. But I do think that anytime something like a new map or new modes or new skins or new guns comes out in Arc Raiders, it will pull from Marathon. But while these initial free entry numbers are pretty good, it's undeniable, 143,000 people isn't god-awful, the response on social media has not been very positive, and this is where they face the problem, because if you have a ton of people online who gave it a shot saying it's bad, they're not going to buy the full release, and that means they're not going to return next week. Endymion had said it's called Marathon because all you do is run around wondering when the game starts to get good. They named their game Marathon, but they should have named it Sprinting the way I'm sprinting to uninstall this trash ass game. This game is awful, bro. Never seen a worse UI. The guns feel like shit. Looting takes 10 years because it's not obvious what anything is, and enemy players look like AI. And this is a big issue when it comes to extraction shooters. You have to have a very distinct style, but it needs to be that way for ease of access, because yes, in a extraction shooter, you're going around, you're looting crates, you're looting players, and so you need to be able to recognize what things are based on the way that they look at a quick glance. That's a reason why even battle royales like Fortnite work and like Apex Legends work, because the style is distinct, the color scheme is distinct. In this, you've got every neon color under the fucking sun, and you've got so many different items. From what I have seen, I personally have not partaken in the server slam. I will give Marathon a chance because I have talked about it, but yeah, not good criticisms. For the love of God, can you guys release games that look like you work on it? Summit experienced a bug on Marathon where you need a controller to navigate the menu. There is no mouse cursor. That was my entire experience. It's a beta, bro. That's why they have one. this is such a stupid take because the game releases in 7 days. There is nothing they can do in 7 days to fix these major issues. Sure, maybe 1 or 2 bugs or glitches can be fixed, but the majority of them can't be in the span of 6 to 7 days. A beta would be, oh yeah, they're going to be releasing the game in 3 months and they wanted people's feedback now, and that would give them time to really address the problems that people have. Just played 3 games of Marathon. This game effing sucks. We have Kada saying, giving the Marathon server slam a chance, and then he just said, Marathon is boring as shit. And I'm personally a fan of extraction shooters. I really enjoy basically every genre of video game. There's no genre where I say to myself, oh my gosh, I absolutely can't stand this and I refuse to play it. And recently we've gotten a lot of battle royale games, extraction shooter games, and I do think they are fun, but I am also not willing to sink my time and my effort into a mid game anymore. Yes, sometimes games stumble, sometimes it takes them a little bit to fully get off the ground, but we are talking about Bungie here. We are not talking about a situation like an Arc Raiders, whereas Arc Raiders was a $40 experience, but it was also their first game release as a team. I know a lot of them were vet developers from some larger studios. They worked on games like Battlefield, for example, and so they know what level of quality their game should be. But if they stumble once or twice, I'm okay with that, but this is Bungie. This is not some brand new team. And hey, listen, I am already being more than fair giving this a shot at all whatsoever after the plagiarism controversy and after they literally stole from people and they copy and pasted art and they basically came out and said, oh, it was just a one guy at this company that did it, which is a complete and utter lie. There's no shot. Only one guy did it and nobody else knew, and nobody else even felt compelled enough to make a statement on it and say how bad they feel. But yeah, I mean, if this is trash, it's not going to sell that well, or a lot of people will buy it and then they'll just not play it again and the player count will drop 40% in a week. Heel vs. Babyface said, I'm not gonna lie, not having a lot of fun on Marathon. Admittedly, I've only tried solos, but I'm bored out of my mind and it feels so slow and sluggish. And this is, again, a reason why I think games like Apex Legends become so addictive, Fortnite becomes so addictive, because they have good movement tech. On Apex Legends, you have wall jumps. You have like these insane characters like Octane where you can sprint around the map and sacrifice a little bit of your health. You have things like grappling hooks. And then in Fortnite, of course, you have the building, you have the paragliding, you have the vehicles. Like, they are very different feelings compared to things like this. Marathon does look pretty slow. It doesn't look that great. And honestly, they probably deserve a lot of the backlash that they are facing over this title at this point. So yeah, the player counts initially were pretty solid, but I do think we are going to see a very different picture being painted next week when the full priced release rolls around and you can't just jump in for free. I don't think that this game is going to completely bomb, but I also don't think that it is going to quite do as well as Bungie expects, because again, Sony paid a lot of money for Bungie. $3.6 billion is a hefty chunk of change, and all they've really had is Destiny, and so they need this to do good. Plus, while we don't know what the budget is, we know that they did some major changes and they actually put a lot more money into it to try to fix it after the playtests and after the controversy. And so they're desperate for this to work. And I believe if this game doesn't do what they want, it is going to break Bungie. So I'll be keeping an eye on it, covering it more in the future. But right now, things are not looking so positive, as a lot of people are saying that Marathon is just a really bad game and they are sprinting to uninstall it. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.